Hey, Chad, do you want to watch a movie?
Yeah.
How about...
No, not again.
Okay, what about...
I just saw that last week.
Okay, oh, I got it.
Wait. You want me to watch what?
So, what'd you think of Blast from the Past?
It's so nice to see Brendan Fraser work. I really enjoyed that.
Yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome everybody to You Want Me to Watch What? A show where Chad and I give movies to the other one that they haven't seen. Among the many movies we haven't watched is the 1999 American romantic comedy adventure film, thank you Wikipedia, Blast from the Past, starring, but not limited to, Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone, Christopher Walken, Sissy Spacek, and Dave Foley. A very nice late 90s ensemble cast. So the movie starts in 1962, where Calvin Weber, Christopher Walken, and his wife,
Helen,
thank you, Sissy Spacek, are throwing like a little block party, whatever. Calvin is a very smart nuclear scientist, and that suddenly during the party, the Cuban Missile Crisis happens. Everybody goes home. Calvin's been preparing for this. He has not just a fallout shelter in his backyard, but the premium fallout shelter. He's been planning this longer than Kennedy had been in office at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it is almost a one-for-one replica of their house above ground, complete with water filtration, air filtration, food to last them for almost forever. Specifically for about 35 years, because that's about the half-life of the atomic bomb. So they go down to the fallout shelter, and as unfortunate luck would have it, a military plane was flying over the San Fernando Valley where they lived, encountered technical issues, and crashed into their house. Rubble fell in, and the time locks were set. So they're like, okay, we're down here for the next 35 years. Oh, and Helen is pregnant and gives birth within the next week. So for the next 35 years, Calvin and Helen raise their son, Adam. It's just the three of them. Calvin teaches him, and he is a very smart man, and Adam is a very smart boy. And Helen teaches him good manners and how to dance and all this stuff with a lot of late 50s, early 60s sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and very progressive 50s, 60s sensibilities.
Oh yes. Yeah, let's make sure we get that clear. So after the 35 years, the door, the lock's open. Calvin goes up. And what has happened in that time is the house has been abandoned because everybody thought the plane crash killed them. So the land was abandoned. It was eventually bought and turned into a soda shop, a soda fountain, and then like a pizza place, and then a bar. And eventually it's just this rundown building where the original owner's son lives, and it's condemned and all this fun shenanigans. The elevator rises up through the floor of this building, and this guy Milker, thinks this is like a sign from some deity. And that's a subplot we'll circle back to later. Calvin goes out into the street. It's nighttime. It's raining. It is now 1995 downtown, 1997 Los Angeles, like down in the valley. It has become a ghetto, basically. Shops and sex stores and everything is there. First, Calvin encounters Melkor. Then he encounters a transvestite sex worker, and then somebody gets thrown out of a bar and is throwing up in the street, and he runs into a sex store to get out of the rain, not realizing it's a sex store, runs back home, and is like telling everybody, the mutants, they've mutated. It's we shouldn't go up there.
Mm-hmm.
Helen, on the other hand, is tired of being down in the fallout shelter with just her and her boys. A little bit of an argument ensues, and we're not sure if it was the stress of the situation or if he had a heart attack, but Calvin falls ill. Adam, now being 35, volunteers to go up and get supplies, which he does.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves with clothes, some cash, his father's baseball card collection from the 40s and 50s, and some stocks and bonds, which they think are now worthless because the bomb has gone off, and these companies clearly aren't around anymore. But Adam likes them. They're pretty. So we'll get back to that in a minute. Adam goes up, and in order to kind of get some extra cash, he decides to sell the baseball cards. Clearly, these can be worth a few $100. That's when he meets Eve. Adam and Eve, get it? Eh? And she tells him that the store owner is trying to rip him off because he's willing to offer $500 for thousands of dollars worth of baseball cards. Eve gives him a lift to a Holiday Inn, and in exchange, he gives her one of the rare Roger Hornsby cards. The next day, she feels bad about it, and she goes to return it. And he's like, listen, I'm absolutely in love with you, but you're not into that right now. That's fine. I'll hire you. Help me get the supplies I need. It should only take us about 2 or so weeks. And over the course of the movie, they go and they start finding the things, and a friendship begrudgingly forms. And he never really tells them where he's from. He's been instructed to just say he's from out of town and he's on business. But he's collecting like a ton of stuff. Crates of Dr. Pepper, crates of tobacco pipe, and, non-perishable foods and stuff like that. And he's going to need frozen meats and this, that. So they're making speculations as to what's going on. As time goes on, they build a budding friendship and whatever. Mm-hmm. They go out to this dance club because another thing he wants to do is find a wife. Granted, it's going to be kind of hard in a 2-week time frame, but sure, what the heck. So they go out to this 40s swing club where Adam not only proves he is a ladies' man because he is very polite and kind of funny, the man can dance. And ends up on the dance floor cutting a rug with 2 women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at that point that Eve reluctantly admits she has feelings for him. They get into a bit of an argument, and she leaves. And later, Adam goes back to her house, and that's where, okay, I do love you, and they kiss. And then Adam tells her everything, to which she thinks he's crazy. And so the next day, she calls and has some doctors come over to try and help him. Well, he runs away, gets in the truck they rented, and drives off. Eve and her roommate, who have been helping them, realize, okay, this probably wasn't the best thing to do. We should try to find him. And so they go looking around, and they find the adult store from earlier. And Adam found it, too. That's how he found his way home. He had been lost this entire time, having never wandered through Los Angeles. Disappointed that there's no basement to the adult store and they can't figure it out. They go to leave, and that's when they find Adam. She's like, I believe you. We went to your hotel room. We found everything. We believe you. And so he takes her down to meet his parents and says, all right, set the timer for 2 weeks or 2 months or something like that. 2 months. And we'll be back. And in that time, he rebuilds their house way far away, and slowly brings them up. And the end of the movie is he's trying to convince his dad that the Cold War never happened. A plane fell on the house. And of course, Calvin doesn't believe him because he's a bit of a nut job. But it's one of those happily ever after moments. Adam and Eve seem like they're going to be happy together. Adam's parents are now out from underground and will slowly adjust to life.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me your thoughts on this delightful little film.
Didn't know where we were really starting, because it starts out in that 1960s, cocktail party. And I'm like, oh, that's Christopher Walken. Wow, he is really restrained in this. And
yeah,
and stays so. Like, it's very much him. But
there's a few moments where it slips through, but
also I bought his enthusiasm and his desire to please his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would have been really easy to make him to be a completely oblivious individual.
Oh, yeah.
All intellect, no wisdom kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that it's hard on his wife. He doesn't conceptualize how hard it is on his wife.
Right.
Because as far as he's concerned, this is survival. And this is survival with the people I love, so this is all good.
Yes.
I think that when Calvin leaves that first time and he shows up and, the guy that plays Melchior, he was also in Twister.
He was one of the,
Joey Slotnick. He plays such a wonderful role in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we watch him grow up over those 35 years as well, from teenager to middle-aged, older than middle-aged adult, as it goes from the ice cream, the malt shop, to the bar, to the dive.
Yeah.
Or the malt shop to the restaurant, to the bar, to the dive.
To the condemned building, yeah.
And Calvin comes up, and it's nighttime, and it's nighttime in the city, and it's in the bad part of the city.
Uh-huh.
But when Adam goes up, it's daytime.
Yeah.
It's
bright, it's sunny, everything's different.
And everything is there. His experience is so radically different, and it works really, really well. I was glad to see that while he is naive, he is not stupid.
No.
He absolutely would have been taken for a ride by the baseball card salesman because of that naivety. I don't know how much they're worth. I'm hoping I can get $100 out of it, or a couple $100 out of all of these cards. What could they possibly be worth after a nuclear bomb?
Yeah. Surprisingly a lot.
Surprisingly. And so I bought that, and I bought Eve's kind of distrust of Adam. Who the hell are you? You're dressed like this, because he's dressed wearing basically a suit jacket that his mom made out of some what looks like curtains.
Yeah, whatever material
she had,
but it's in that 60s kind of style,
right? And so I buy her suspicion of him. I did not buy her her developing relationship with him. Like where she suddenly realizes that she likes him or doesn't want to admit that she likes him kind of thing. That happened a little bit too, I don't want to say easy. It happened too fast. You know, they go from her being really annoyed by him in the car to suddenly at the bar being like really protective of him. And it's like, you need to show her like warming up to him a little bit more.
Fair enough.
But overall, it still works, and it still works well. Also, shout out to cameo from Nathan Fillion as Eve's ex-boyfriend.
Yep, one of his early roles.
Who gets punched at least 3 times in the face by Brendan Fraser.
That was a great scene.
Because, again, Adam, he grew up learning everything from his parents, including boxing.
Yep.
From his dad. And so it's all done with this very wide-eyed, innocent, naive, and delightfully guileless kind of way. You know, it's like they are making decent satire of a lot of these things, but they're also being very earnest in this character. It's like this character is absolutely taking everything at face value. He is serious about all of this stuff, and he's being mostly honest with all this stuff. You know?
Yeah.
But everything that's happening around is just this great big old mirror is like, look at how we treat people. When Eve and Troy are discussing with Adam how to make a connection with somebody at the club. You know, be funny. You know, tell a joke. Or, you know, lie. Lying is a great foundation on which to build a relationship.
And the first thing he does when he goes up to a woman that he is attracted to at the bar is like, I seem to have dropped my Congressional Medal of Honor. Which is not something people would have said.
No,
that's a pickup line.
That's what somebody would have said in the 60s.
Yeah.
When World War II had just ended a decade ago in Korea and Vietnam was about to start. You know, that's... So, it was very funny, and I'm going to use the word sweet. It was very sweet, a very sweet movie.
Yes.
Yes. You get the sense early on, once Eve shows up and kind of rescues Adam from the baseball card guy, it's like, okay, nothing really bad's going to happen to him. He's not going to end up living on the streets. He's not going to end up, you know, walking the halls of a psychiatric institute, although that was teased.
That was teased. Wouldn't that have been a twist? Like, Eve never shows up. He gets scammed for the baseball cards, blows through all his money, can't find his way home, and then the rest of the movie is just him wandering the streets of L.A.
It'd been a terrible movie.
It'd have been a horrible movie.
I mean, it'd been probably accurate to real life, but
yeah,
it'd have been a terrible movie, not at all entertaining.
So I was looking up Fraser's IMDb page to see what else he had done around this time, and he went from George of the Jungle,
right?
You know, human raised by animals with very little human contact, to Blast from the Past with human interaction but not a lot of socializing, whatever, to playing Rick O'Connell in The Mummy. You see a nice progression of different types of human. There were a couple of other movies in there, but those are the 3 that stand out in a 3-year time frame.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also,
and Blast from the Past and Mummy were back to back.
Yeah.
So it's vastly different characters.
Also, did not realize that he was in so many Pauly Shore movies. Well, because like I knew that he was the quote unquote caveman in Encino Man.
Encino Man.
I didn't realize that was his second movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but from Encino Man to Son-in-Law to Airheads to In the Army Now.
Army Now, yeah.
It's like, huh.
Was Airheads a Pauly Shore thing? I don't think so.
It might not have. No, that was.
It's Adam Sandler.
That was Adam Sandler. And Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. It's easy to get those two mixed up sometimes.
Well,
I get it.
It was in that style.
It was in that style,
where you have this kind of weird kind of comedy thing.
But then he goes Blast from the Past, The Mummy, Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah.
And then Bedazzled.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Bedazzled?
Not in a long time.
It doesn't hold up as well as it should.
Yeah.
But it does hold up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's just the late 90s, 99 to 2000 was a boom for him, and also weird juxtaposition of characters that he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
But it showed off his range really well.
Indeed it did. You know, Brendan Fraser is a national treasure and should be protected at all costs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, watch it for that 90s Brendan Fraser. He's a powerhouse of that time. Christopher Walken is, as usual, wonderful. Sissy Spacek does a great job of that barely contained rage.
Yes.
It's like, have you seen that 70s show, any episodes of that 70s show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kitty.
She reminds me of that Kitty Foreman,
mm-hmm.
you know, where it's just like, all right, I'm supposed to be the supportive, happy wife, and if somebody doesn't put a cigarette in my hands and a drink in my other, you know, there will be hell to pay.
Yeah, when Helen starts drinking the cooking sherry, I'm like, okay, yeah, she's stressed.
Dave Foley, I think, could have had a little bit better role a more expanded role. He was there was a good amount of support that he had. It would have been, not that they had to, but they talk about him being gay, and Brendan Fraser's character, Adam's just like, well, that's great. You know, because he associates gay with happy, not with homosexual. And so it would have been an interesting bit of scene to put in where that becomes the reality. You know, the notion of, oh, and then all of that progressive 60s upbringing gets to be rewarded. Right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, you know, times have changed from what, you know, and
Mom and Dad said, yeah.
And still be okay. Good for you. So it didn't need it. They certainly weren't going to do it in the 90s.
No.
If it were...
Go ahead.
That
reminds me of the scene when he first comes up and sees the mail lady who is black.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, a Negro.
The what now? How do you do? I do all right.
Let me shake your hand. How are you?
Yeah. So, anyway.
And he's so excited. It's like, I've never seen somebody like this before. This is awesome.
So, of the movies from the 90s, this has aged remarkably well.
I know. I was worried when we went back to watch it the other night, and I'm like, oh, please don't suck. Because my spouse had seen it too, and I'm like, this is what I'm watching. Do you want to join me? And immediately, yes. Mm-hmm. Which she never does.
Well, good for you.
I finally found one she likes. And we sat there, and we both laughed the entire time.
Mm-hmm. So, this is a see it from me. Absolutely. If you've got access to it, which it was free on YouTube, you know.
Yeah. Or check your local library.
So, But
So yeah, see it from you. It's a see it from me. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Go enjoy this late 90s romantic comedy adventure film. I guess they can't call it an action film, even though there was like 3 seconds of fighting.
True.
Not enough. I think it has to be 10 seconds or longer.
And one chase scene.
And one chasing, yes. Anyway, that's a see it from both of us, so I think that makes it your turn.
I believe it does.
All right.